Hello everyone. You are listening to this audiobook on channel Voice of Purpose by NSS IIT Bombay.
A Trump of Surgery by James Herriot. The story tells us how a rich lady pampers her dog and makes it very lazy. Her overfeeding makes the dog fat and ill. The narrator, who is a doctor, understands the dog lethargy and treats it at his clinic. The dog becomes active and lady takes him back home. Parents often pamper their kids by giving them excessive and variety of meals. Because of this, they become overweight and spoiled. Parents just try to meet every demand of the kid and fail to give them exercise of their body and mind. Let's start with the story. When Doctor Herriot was driving his car, he saw Miss Pumphrey with her little dog Tricki on the street. The dog had become fat like a sausage. He had blood red and rheumy eyes. His tongue rolled from his jaws. Dr. Herriot was shocked to see his appearance. It looked like Tricki lacked energy and was ill. Miss Pumphrey explained to Dr. James that Tricki was looking listless. He had no energy. She felt that he was suffering from malnutrition. So she gave him extras between meals, but his health couldn't be built up. Even the malt, cod liver oil, and bowl of Horlicks failed to make him sleepy. Miss Pumphrey cut down on the sweet things but relented when Tricki started getting weaker. She gave him his favorite cream cakes and chocolate. She gave him food at odd and irregular hours. Miss Pumphrey told him that Tricki only walks with her and doesn't play games like ring throwing, which he played earlier. The doctor advised Miss Pumphrey to cut Tricki's food right down and to give him more exercise, otherwise he will fall ill. Miss Pumphrey got determined to adhere to the doctor's stern advice. After a few days, Miss Pumphrey called and informed Dr. James about Tricki's health. She told him that Tricki was not eating anything and had been vomiting. She further informed him that her dog spent all his time lying on a rug and did not do anything. Dr. James knew that the only way to cure Tricki was to get him out of the house from some time. He suggested Miss Pumphrey to hospitalize him for a fortnight for observation so that proper treatment can follow. Miss Pumphrey broke when Dr. Herriot took Tricki to hospital. Everybody in her household, including her maids, were in tears. Dr. James carried Tricki wrapped in a blanket to his car. The maids started to put together things that Tricki would need during hospitalization, such as his bed, cushions, toys, balls, etc. Tricki could not even wag his tail or kick with his legs. His eyes too had become dull and he lay down motionless on the carpet. The other dogs at the surgery ignored him as an uninteresting object. The doctor put him on a water diet for 2 days. At the end of the second day, he became a bit energetic after showing some interest in his surroundings. On the third day, he whimpered, trotted out, and enjoyed the company of other dogs. He also started eating properly. The doctor did not give Tricki any medical treatment. All day, he frolicked with other dogs cheerfully. He was out of danger and started recovering at very fast pace. He found joy in being bowled over and squashed. Miss Pumphrey inquired about the Tricki on phone many times a day as she was keen to know about Tricki's recovery. She was suffering from the pangs of his separation. As Tricki's health started improving, Miss Pumphrey started sending additional food items like egg, wine, and brandy for Tricki. The vet and his partner consumed these additional items themselves. Everybody was so happy with the unusual, delicious food that they wanted to keep Tricki as a permanent guest. Ultimately, Dr. James told her that Tricki had recovered and can go home. She reached the surgery by a car to collect him. The doctor brought Tricki in his arm. Tricki jumped to Miss Pumphrey's laps and started licking her face. Tears were shining in her eyes. She thanked the doctor and called the treatment a trump of surgery. So the story comes to an end. Hope you like it. Thank you.
So hope you guys had fun. Please like, share and subscribe to this channel for more interesting audiobooks.